So, let's get started. We have half an hour. This is extremely short, so I can only have your toe in the water, not making it a deep dive or totally. You can not leave as masters. And another point is, I'm not used to this. I tend to articulate very badly. So please warn me if I start mumbling and you don't understand it anymore. Okay? We have half an hour. I'm a visual thinker, as I told you, so I need to map this out. So a quarter of an hour and 2 times 5 minutes. I'll start the introduction, since I start right now, and then I will do a first tryout, and then we'll talk a little about whether you need drawing or not, and then we'll have a second one, and we'll try to connect the dots, and then at the end we'll have questions and answers, and I'll kind of a wrap up of the whole system. This lessons or this workshop is for you, so I'll have you working. And I also have the rule that interruptions go first, because if you're not following me anymore, I'm just talking into plain air here. This is workshops, you will need pen and paper. People here do not have pen and paper, I have some provided. Anybody need anything? It's like real students, well prepared now. But we can participate in this failure of you start well. Help yourself to a special prize. While we do this, I still want to stress this is not about drawing or painting or making art or anything. It is about thinking. Let's make everybody satisfied. So, okay, what's visual thinking anyway? What is that demonstrated? With my questions in the big room. We're all basically animals with a very strong visual system. We basically educated apes from the savannah, and we survived for millions of years by using our eyesight very effectively. So now if we see something that's important, you recognize it very fast. And it's this part of the brain we want to use today. It's not about calculating, I'm lousy at math, but we see very rapidly. And there's another thing about thinking, that we avoid thinking mostly. We like driving a car is very difficult when you have to learn it, and it's but once you know it, you do it automatically. And you even like try to rehearse your talk when you're driving to Hasselt, for example. There's very recent discoveries like people from Kahneman, you might see them on TED.com, a talk of him, or other people. They're discovering that the brain uses a huge amount of energy and power. It burns sugar like nothing else in the body. And because we are economical animals, we use our energy as efficient as possible. We tend not to think. So if you're at ease, you're at home, you watch television, you do not use your brain intensively. the only time you start using your brain, when is that? When you run into trouble. Then you say, okay, now I'm in a situation I don't want to be here, it's not comfortable. What can I do? And then you start thinking. So thinking is basically about problem solving. And that's nice because that's what we need today in this environment that becomes more and more complex, and this huge amount of information and ideas we get poured into ourselves today. Like the talks we have today is a huge amount of information. So how to process it and take it to your advantage. So let's focus on, okay, I do have a problem. I don't like having a problem. I want to get out of it. So how do I do this? Then we will start a very simple first exercise. So, because another point, somebody else's problem is not really a problem, is it? It's only a problem when it affects you. So I invite all of you to think of a problem you're having. It might be trivial and small, or it might be huge and tremendous. Think about it and try to put it in one clear, specific sentence for yourself, or a question, whatever suits you. And you have a piece of paper you got, and just write it down in one sentence somewhere over here or on top somewhere. Just think for yourself. If it's a very sensitive problem and you're not wanting to discuss it with your neighbor, which I might invite you to do, please take another problem. You will probably have more than one. So take a minute, think of something you might want to use visual thinking on. So you might benefit from it. Because I like my work to work. I'm lazy. And once you don't, just stick up your hand so I can check whether most are off. Okay, don't. Okay. Let's take a minute. My timekeeper, I don't have any sense of time, so it's my first workshop. I'm practicing. Okay. Anybody needs any more time to think of a problem? Okay, thanks. Okay. Now, you take on a piece of paper, you draw like a circle or a block, any closed form, a big O, a big zero, if you wish. Okay, all done. So, now this is how the mapping of visual thinking starts. This is your problem area, and this is your problem. This is the definition. And now it's your problem, so I would like you to note where you are. Are you outside of the problem, something like here, or are you inside the problem? So write your name and do something vertical like this, and that's you, and you put two eyes in, and you don't need to draw because you recognize your own position. Okay? Could you do that? Is it your problem? It is it? So what's your connection to the problem? In the problem or outside the problem? Interesting question, right?
Sorry, does inside the problem mean you're the cause of the problem? Or
you're
the cause?
No, not necessarily, but you can have a problem, you feel all surrounded by it, and you're like it's kind of immersed in it, you might be even drowning, but you feel it's all around, it's like you can't get away from it, you cannot escape. There are problems that are outside of you, you're interested, you're connected to it, but you can step away from it or look from it a different way. That's the way I use my brain. Just testing this, right? Okay, once you've done that, when you're inside, okay, there's no escape, of course. But when you're outside, you